All right. Today's segment or today's take is going to be about whether Dillon Gabriel's college experience puts him ahead of Shedeur Sanders because apparently these guys over here think so. So once we get back to that, we're gonna um, we're gonna go there for a minute. Yeah, and we are back. Like I said, today's topic we're gonna break this thing down. We're gonna get right into it right now. I want you to see what they had to say about this situation, because this their point of view.
I told you what I know. I'll speculate here in just a moment after we play this Auburn Brewer, because I want you guys to hear this on why there might be a lack of first-team reps for Shedeur Sanders.
I think it's because he had a bigger learning curve than Dillon Gabriel. That's the reality of it. I mean, Dillon Gabriel started how many games in college? Dillon Gabriel crushed his pre-draft process. Now that doesn't mean there wasn't stuff for him to learn along the way. But I wrote this back in March and April that there were teams that were sort of stunned by how little Shedeur knew, relative to what they thought, him being the son of Dillon and having played for Pat Shurmur in college. So I think Shedeur, and maybe this isn't any fault of his own, but I think Shedeur had a lot more ground to cover than Dillon Gabriel did. And so because of that, it's harder to put him out there with the first team. Again, you have to be able to answer to your players in these sorts of things. That's the way I look at it, at least.
Okay, hold on. We're going to pause for a second right here. Now, right out the gates, he feel like Dillon is at an advantage. What gives him this idea, man? This is something that he just making up on his own, because he said it. He said, this is what I think. This is my theory. All right, so we're going to let him finish.
Let me speculate just a moment here off of what Aubrey Breer just said with the guys in the afternoon, which was a great interview. Brilliant stuff from him. And I mean that sincerely. Aubrey Breer was excellent yesterday. Listen to more of that, 923thefan.com. That's why you have to have the free Odyssey app, folks, wherever you're at. Timbuktu to Portland, Maine. It's absolutely free. Get the Odyssey app right now. Dillon Gabriel was in three different offenses. I don't know if there's three totally different offenses, but with three different programs. Okay? Three different head coaches. Oklahoma, UCF, Oregon. If you're going to go and excel at those levels, buddy, you better know some football. You better know it. Shedeur has been with two. And this is where, and don't get mad. You're going to get sensitive. Not you. Everybody else is going to get sensitive. Dillon, I do believe, is tough on his children. I do believe that Dillon is tough on Shedeur and demanding of his son. But he's also going to put his son in the best position possible, is he not? And if it's still the same offense and it's still the same types of
Okay, my bad. I have my mic muted. I'm still kind of new to this. All right, so this is what he just said. Dillon is going to put his son in the best position. As a head coach, ain't it your job to put your quarterback in the best position? I mean, what are we talking about, man?
things of what you're doing, and you're not really getting out of any other offenses and being able to expand that horizon, well, you have to do it in the NFL because the defenses are more complicated. The athletes are better. They're going to throw things at you that you may never have seen at Jackson State or Colorado. Those are great football teams that you're playing against at Colorado. It's still a pretty good conference. It's not the Big Ten or SEC, but it's still a pretty good conference. But you're going to get some stuff that you ain't never seen in the NFL with players that you have never seen in college football. And so he starts a little bit behind the eight ball there. It's not the overall reason he fell to the 5th round, for crying out loud. That we all have our different theories about that, and who knows. And we're going to have to get to a point at some point where who cares?
No,
but I speculate.
Yeah,
is he behind because he didn't want to know, or is it behind because, hey, we got to hit the ground running and we have to go with the simplest offense? And I'm your head coach. I was your head coach at Jackson State. I was your offensive coordinator in high school. I was your head coach at Jackson State, and I'm your head coach in Colorado. We got to get this thing going here because we got to turn around programs. We got to turn around the HBCU program, and we got to turn around the worst college football program in all of P4. Like, that's maybe speculative, and maybe that's not the truth. Maybe Shedeur just couldn't pick it up. We'll find out. We will find out soon enough. But if
he say maybe Shedeur just couldn't pick it up. Man, it's sickness sometimes, man. Like, do you guys even understand football, how football works? From what I've heard, ain't no first team. The first team offensive line out there, they don't know who the quarterback is, so there's no first team quarterback. They don't know who's going to be the starting running backs. They got 2 rookies. And the other guy, I can't even think of his name. So he just restructured his deal to take lesser money. His name will come to him. But this is what we're looking at, y'all. You know, so just think about what these people are saying. All right, so let's keep listening.
I'm hearing that his work ethic is there and he's picking it up quickly enough, then I'm starting to think maybe he was incubated a little bit. Because if Shedeur's naturally better than a lot of the guys he's going to play against, then, yeah, you're going to win more games than you lose. And they were able to do that in year 2 everywhere they went. He was able to do it. I mean, to go from 1-11 the year before they got there to 9-4 in a bowl game, that's a big turnaround. There has to be credit that's given to that. And part of that is taking care of the offense, taking care of the wins and losses with what you can do as a quarterback. And your father's the head coach of the football team. Now, I'm just trying to connect dots on that.
Why do they keep talking about the father?
There are ways to get around.
All right, so they saying that Dillon did all this college. He played for all these different coordinators, right? So I was like, man, that's kind of deep. You know what I mean? He played for all these different coordinators. And I know I be hearing Dillon say how Shedeur played for 4 different coordinators. So I Googled how many offensive coordinators did Dilion Gabriel have in college? 2. Even though he played for 3 years, Jeff Libby, it says Dilion Gabriel worked under 2 different offensive coordinators during his college career. 60 games, 2 offensive coordinators. And we both know he only played for Oregon for 1 year. So that's 12 games. So all the other games that he played, he was under the same offensive coordinator for 48 games. Libby, both at UCF 2019 and Oklahoma 2020 through 2023, Libby coached Gabriel at UCF, resulting in a prolific offense, and then the 2 reunited at Oklahoma when Libby became the Sooners offensive coordinator. Boom, just like that. So let's say, let's see how many Shedeur has. It says Shedeur Sanders worked under 6 different offensive coordinators during his college career. He began at Jackson State, where his OC was Mike Pollock. He was the co-offensive coordinator alongside another coordinator. After transferring to Colorado, he opened up with Sean Lewis, played that season in 2023, then Pat Shermer. It said reports note that he used 6 college offensive coordinators at 2 different schools. 2 different schools. So what that let you know? We had 1 with 6, 1 with 2. But you guys say that because Dillon was at 3 different schools, and he had more offensive coordinators that had him at advantage. So does Shedeur get the same advantage when y'all stand corrected? Good question. So I guess the answer to the question is no. Dillon Gabriel's experience in college did not give him an advantage because he's not in the front of nothing. Get with you.